Oh, look.
Okay, we're here. Okay, we got PM in the people. I'm here with Miles and YoEmmett of the the Coronation Collective. How we doing?
Yo, we're doing fantastic today.
Hell yeah! You guys been recording?
Yes.
Yes. Hell yeah!
Quarantine. I mean, it's given us nothing else to do other than
yes,
which is
straight up
motivation we needed. We've got lots of stuff to do, so
that's good. Okay, so my very first question right out the gate is like, explain the collective to me, because from the internet I have a vague idea of what it is, but I don't have a full image. So yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it started like Emmett and I started making like music like when we first met in like university, but the collective really started when we started working more with like Bait and Bool, obviously divided by number 9, and as well as Young Sam. And it became pretty quickly just like a platform for everyone to like collaborate, and we've got producers as well as artists, and everyone just like contributes their own ideas into like, you know, kind of this like platform of developing different identities and musical styles in the umbrella of hip hop.
So are you two would be like the RZA and the GZA sort of the group? Is that fair to say? Not to dog on the other guys. Like the other Wu-Tang are great too, but
I'll take that comparison.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will say though that Ghostface might be my favorite. But.
Yeah, I mean, very good discography Ghostface has. Like the RZA doesn't have too many banger solo albums, that's for sure.
Well, like very sound, so like also like that's a huge.
Yeah, I bought his book, The Tao of Wu.
Oh yeah, I've always wanted to read that. Although like the Tao of anything is a bit heady for me, you know.
Yeah, all about the it's the first Tao that I will tackle.
So you guys are like, you guys went to school and you're graduated and all that. That's right.
Yes.
What did you study? I have no idea, truly.
Well, we both started off in music.
Okay.
I started off wanting to go into like piano performance, so like where your job is literally to just like be a pianist.
Yeah,
but I realized I didn't want to do that, so I graduated with music history, minor in like.
At UVic, correct?
Yeah, that was at UVic.
Okay. So you were doing the whole like the new music thing then, yeah?
Well, like that was like a lot more like classically focused and shit.
Okay.
And then I just got back like last July because I just got back I did a master's at Western, and that was called popular music and culture. So like that was a lot more what I was into, and a lot more sort of like a sociological. It was more of a sociological degree where it was looking at things like race and gender and how they play into popular music and stuff. So like I mean, I wrote my thesis on Migos. So
sick, hell yeah.
And it was sick, but yeah.
And yeah, what about you? Music also. I was in the performance program as well, but for classical guitar. And I started guitar when I was like 7. So then, I was like, I'm ready to just like do this for my life. And I went to school and I was like, there's like other considerations in music that make it fun.
Yes, that was a question I was going to get to, is the fun ethos,
like, I just found like there's a bit of like a taste difference for me and like the professor I studied under. Like definitely no like shade to him. One of the most like talented musicians I've like worked with. Lots of learning in terms of just like knowing about music, but like not necessarily an instrument, right? It's not limited to just that. So I took English, got a normal job, and it supports the hobby, the dream, and we keep this going, and it's fucking awesome. I wouldn't have it any other way.
Cool. So I was gonna ask next, like, give me all the people in the collective. Give all of them. Who's in the collective?
Yeah, so it's like, well, there's like technically like 5 of us, I guess. So it's like Coronation, like HQ is like Bait and Bool and Nick Wesley, who does like the art. They live together.
They actually live.
I met him way back, Nick Wesley, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. You guys like, I'm pretty sure there's like.
The guy smoked weed with him off and on for about a year. Yeah.
Exactly. So like they live together. They're like kind of like directive, sort of like, shape like sort of the visual side of things, and just like Aiden's also getting involved in like planning events and whatnot since Metafest, except COVID happened. And then it's me and this guy. for like mixing, production, vocal, songwriting, and also like Champagne Crawford is like doing his own thing, although he's also been like laid up because of COVID and work and everything else. So there's like 5 of us, I guess, that like kind of like maintain the collective.
And then you have some of the like adjacent people, like that Freed Motorsport guy. I don't know much about him, and Illest Behavior and stuff, right?
Exactly. So then like shout out those boys first of all, because like in September we actually first started linking with all those Vic people via Dive Team. Like Mikey just found us on Instagram, reached out, and he's like, yo, so like shout out Dive Team for that. They like started bringing us all together. And then September we did 2 Wavy with Freed Motorsport. Illest Behavior was kicking around also, but then we ended up like starting doing a bunch of different stuff as of late. So there's like with him. So anyways, it's been like a whole like progression of like a year and a half of just sort of melding into the bit culture and figuring out how to continue that platform that we have idea
so
for.
it's like it's not strictly like music. Like Freed is
that's what I was gonna ask too. I was gonna say, because I noticed that it like the whole brand, if you will, that the Coro collective kind of projects is like, definitely it's not just music. There's an element of fashion, there's an element of visual art, and I'm sure at some point there'll be an element of film and stuff that takes a lot more time than anything else, but to get right, at least to get the film music video thing down, you can half-ass it, but
it is something you tackle, and it is something we have talked about.
Yeah, and like I think for us and like just making music, a lot of our influences come from like sort of cinema, just base sort of things. So that's an eventual goal. And like for me personally, I've had to realize like that does take time to get that like A1 product out. And I think we're capable of it. And like we have like met all you like amazing people too. And just knowing that it's like possible in Victoria is like pretty huge. As of late too, with quarantine, that's like
people are working fast.
Yeah.
And hope to see people like still like generating content like you are.
And exactly, the 420 EP also shout out, 700 like God.
Yeah, we did that I did that in like 15 minutes. It wasn't that like, I just wanted to say, I wanted to talk, Steven Ranella, who that is? He's the man-eater guy, or not man-eater, is that what it's called? Manhunter? What the fuck is it called? He's like a hunter guy on Netflix. I don't know. I thought it would be funny. Meat Eater. That's what it's called. Meat Eater. So you guys are like, I've noticed you guys kind of take it slow, sort of, but you're very prolific in the way that you've kind of put out the music, just from going through Spotify and stuff, in the way that slowly kind of developed a brand. What's next? What's the next big project like between the whole collective? Or are you just ranking up tracks, just like
well, lately, I mean, we had been like, for the last few months, we've been in the mindset of just like trying to like drop singles and like trying to just like sort of get the name out there, and that was like part of it with the show, like Metafest. Big up to Batty Boo. So like I guess that has been sort of the mantra, which is a word I hate.
I like mantra.
Okay, well, I'm glad you like it. So yeah, that has been like the vibe for the last like few months. But I think like now that quarantine, is happening, it's a chance to like sort of take stock of where we're at, and like that's a good question actually, because
I would say like we do have a couple different things on the horizon for like a bigger scale. I'd say like that's definitely what our main focus has been on right now, and then like the like solo project for me was just like kind of like a mini experiment of just like how do we take like what we have and like start shaping it into like artistry. But like I think on that note, we've been having this idea of like a collective mixtape that I think for this summer we have like a lot of like really good like summer kind of upbeat tracks that is probably an idea of continuing to work with people and collaborate. So
and like why not make upbeat shit?
Let's see, maybe.
So I was gonna ask about fashion in general. I don't know fuck all about fashion. I dress horribly, and I know that like, so I listened to like as much of your music as I could over the last couple of days, and there's excessive references to fashion, and not even in a way that's the way that I do it, which is like, this rhymes. I don't really know what a Balenciaga is, So where does that come from? What's give me a rundown on the fashion thing in general, you know?
Like, I think for me, it's a mix.
It's a broad question.
Just personal influence in terms of like just stylistic stuff, and kind of the combination of like the dream reality. Like, how do I just manifest that through a song? So it's like, it's honestly just stuff that I like. Like if I'm just like on like wherever, Instagram, Pinterest, just like finding stuff that I think looks good, and just like putting stuff together like that, or just like going to the grocery store and like, you know, double down Fendi and like, who cares?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Just like doing that and just kind of embodying that in songs too is a good attitude. I think it's kind of fun. It goes along with like the delusional confidence of like drag, which is something I'm gonna end up going into.
Hell yeah.
I think it lends itself well to hip hop because that's kind of it.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I watched last night in preparation for this. I watched the Jeremy Scott documentary that's on Netflix. I don't know if you've seen that.
Okay.
Yeah, and like, you know, I honestly don't love his work, but I definitely was like the way that you've been like projecting yourself on Instagram, and the way that he talked about why he liked to dress the way that he did, which was just simply like, why not? You know, why not?
Just like expression, like no one else is doing, you know, XYZ, so you can like claim that and be yourself, quote unquote.
Yeah, that's something I love about like hip hop too, is it's very easy to take tiny little influences and have them all kind of come together in this like mosaic collage that doesn't look anything like those individual pieces when they come together, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And like that's collaboration too. Like,
yes, 100%.
Something bigger. So
I think on like that, just on that front, I think that like Young Thug is
of course, yeah. You know, I thought this is an aside. So, do you remember? I believe Fat Joe threw big, vaguely homophobic shade at Young Thug for wearing the dress, if you remember that. And AOC, the queen of progressives, went live with fucking Fat Joe 2 days ago like it wasn't a big deal. And I'm like, fuck.
That's interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
This is research. I love it.
Yeah. I don't know. I just remembered like being like, Fat Joe, you're an idiot, and then seeing AOC like list off her top 5 to him, and I was like, man, you should do your research if you're gonna be a politician and pop up on somebody's Instagram live.
Exactly, right? Like you have to, especially like just on that sort of front, like, you know, being an ambassador for like what you actually believe in versus what you stand for too.
I will say that, though, there's a long list of people that I'll fucking hate on before I get to AOC.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Very close to the bottom, actually, of the list.
Make no mistake.
Yeah.
I guess I'm just getting at the point of like turn it into being about you guys. You guys seem to like really stand for what you project. Like I've talked to a lot of music people over the years of being in bands and stuff, just by the nature of it, and myself included. There's a lot of diva shit, right? There's a lot of diva behavior, and that the second you act like a diva, the fun goes away. In my opinion, at least. Like the ego is very hard, and none of you guys, none of your boys, I have experienced even an ounce of that, which is absolutely refreshing. When I first met James Joyce, good friend of mine, total diva, and he's chilled out since. Like shout out to Joyce. He's had a personal narrative, and that's great. But and also some people deserve to be a diva, but like on a like interpersonal level, it's garbage, right?
Like it, yeah. If you're Kanye, like I guess, like
yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking of. Yeah, Kanye.
Yeah,
but even that sometimes.
I was like, I don't know. For me, like in grade 11, I was like part of this funk band that I started through this like music composition class, and I like got stung by the diva bee very early, because the bassist in the band, who was like a good friend of mine, he ended up like kicking me out of the band because he was like, "Oh, you don't fit the band style," because he was a very good bassist. But he really loved like slap bass style, and I was like, I don't know, like maybe more like soul, sort of like 70s like punk shit.
You were playing guitar?
Yeah, and it was awesome. But then like just then I was like, man, you shouldn't like let your taste or like view of something like cause someone else to feel excluded. Like I feel like there's always like space for everything to be incorporated, no matter like what like size or capacity. And I was just like,
at least try it too. Like that's the one thing. Like to not even be welcoming of the try, at least on the level that the whole lot of us are at. Like, and even the level of like 10,000s of plays. Like you need to be into those millions territories to even be remotely diva-ish, if you ask me. Like,
yeah, I think it's always important to stay grounded because that's how you connect with people.
Yeah, that's part of why I've been wanting to talk. Like, it's easy to DM with people and just be like, hell yeah. I say hell yeah a lot in my DMs. Hell yeah, this. But then to actually like chat like this, it's a little bit different. You get the tone, the textures.
Exactly. I'm stoked to chat with you also. Like, we've been meaning to like make some tracks with you. I'm sure that's going to happen after this.
Yes, I got an open that I would like to send you. Actually, I was going to mention that off the thing. Okay, so a question that I like to ask everybody, period, is like, what's your shit right now? Like, what's influencing you right now? And it could be themes, it could be YouTube, it could be music, film, whatever. Like, what's the stuff last few weeks that you've been consuming that's got you titillated?
Yeah. Oh, straight up, like, that's a big question. Like, I feel like everyone right now is just, thanks to this quarantine, like, they've been forced in this cocoon more or less, and it's just we're all facing this like wall of change, and it's just like how to like mitigate that and just like start getting this like message out of like we're all in this together, like be your own boss, like own your shit, and everything's gonna be all right. And that overall, more specifically, space stuff for sure, Neptune, Saturn, all that good stuff, cosmos. Are
you into any astrology with that, or just the
like a little bit, but like more just like the inner workings of like actual planets and like what they're doing right now. And like I love metaphors and whatnot, so I always try and like explain things with like reference to like something that's happening on a bigger scale again. And then just like fashion, of course, muscle cars, makeup. That's about it.
I would say for me too, like, I mean, like nothing gets me harder than music. So, like, like, I mean, I have definitely, I've always liked Baby, but like lately I've just been listening to so much Baby.
Okay, I'm not super familiar with Baby. I saw it on my girlfriend's brother's SoundCloud likes once. It was like, it's Playboy Cardi-ish. Is that right? Would you say that's right?
Yeah, oh no, not him. But yeah, I was gonna say I thought he was cousins with Playboy, but that's someone else. But no, So Baby is sick. You should listen to his album, Squidtastic. It's crazy. He makes, his like cousin is his producer or something, and they just have like such a vibe going on. Anyway, but I was gonna say, So Baby, 03 Greedo is like,
dude, I love 03 Greedo. Joyce turned me on to 03 Greedo early, and it was like, a lot of my boys didn't fuck with it, like Never Bend and all that. They were like, what the fuck is this shit? And it reminds me of like a lot of the like Bad Boy Records kind of energy. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like almost, he reminds me of Biggie in a weird way, where he can rap like crazy, but it's totally pop music, a lot of it, right?
Interesting. Yeah.
Accessible.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it's a lot of things accessible too.
For sure. Yeah. Basketball is something that has influenced me a lot, like in the last few years, but it hasn't been lately. Not lately as I want.
Yeah. Are you playing any, like, you got a PlayStation? You playing some NBA?
I was never like a huge gamer, but we did just get an Xbox, so maybe we might splurge on some NBA.
Yeah, actually, that would be.
Why
good.
not?
We have like NBA like 07 right now. So
yeah. Okay. Did you get an Xbox 360 or an Xbox? You get an Xbox One?
360.
Yeah.
360?
Yeah.
Okay. You got to get Skate. You got to get some Skate. That's some good like trapping in the studio gaming.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah. Let's see what else I got here. I'm just gonna freeball it. So is there this is something I've always been curious about, the SoundCloud and Spotify distinction, right? So some things you put on SoundCloud, some things you put on Spotify. I know some people it just has to do with samples, right? I think I say just put it on Spotify and worry about that later, personally. I said this to Joyce. But what's the distinction? Is it like just immediacy, or what's the philosophy behind what goes where?
That's most of it, honestly. Like if we ever just like want to get a track out and we don't have to like worry about honestly the biggest thing more than samples lately is like art copyright. Like even if we just use like pieces of something like a layer that we grab from somewhere and like incorporate it, they like still kind of flag it through the independent, you know, artists that we're releasing under United Masters. I think
what's the difference? What is the benefit of using United Masters? Because I use DistroKid.
Okay, nice, man. Honestly, like we used to use TuneCore, and it was really expensive. And
TuneCore's garbage, man. It's like CD Baby and TuneCore are like archaic bullshit. Like no way.
And like they're so caught up in intricacy. Anyway, it's not that interesting.
Exactly. So like that's most of it is just like immediacy, and like also just recently we've really started to like put together the Coro brand, like Coronation Collective. So like we're starting to release stuff just under that and figure out how to catalog everyone else under the Coro like blanket more or less. So like we released a like pretty sweet album last year, like Disconnect, but it was before we really named ourselves Coronation Collective, which is
there was a name. It was the same page. It was High Key and Miles, right? Is that what it was?
Yeah.
And are you High Key?
I'm high. Okay. Yeah, I'm high key, but then like one night we were with Dive Team actually and a few other people, and like Mikey was like, YoEmmett, and then that ended up being like my tag, and then I was just like, fuck man, that should just be my like name. Like I feel like that's way better than high key. So like that I just changed that like a couple months ago.
Okay.
So,
yeah. My main guy Chris, he was like, I don't care about a fucking name, and I'm like, I'm gonna just call it Chris on the tape, and he was like, yeah, fine, that'll do. And I like just the names, you know, I like just the names. Sorry, what did you just say? That cut out.
I said Chris is like the most common name ever.
Yeah, there's no Google to it at all, but it's fine.
You gotta have the Google ability also.
Yeah. Wow. Philip Morris is not super Googleable either, man. But so be it. There's a million other fucking people that have used this name, but they all use 2 L's, which is not how the brand spells it. So I got it down pat.
Distinction factor.
Okay, I want to go back to the narrative thing. Like, can we go earlier? Like, I want to talk about your life playing guitar and stuff. Like, where did that begin? Like childhood talking.
I never wanted to play guitar. I actually like started off wanting to play violin. I'm from Campbell River. So there was like no violin teacher. My mom like asked someone and ran into this other lady who's like, oh, I teach guitar. Like if he's interested in like string instruments, you should try this. So I did. And I was like, yeah, this is cool. Because I knew I wanted to do music. And that took me, man, that's like a whole ride for like, until I was like 21.
You guys are like 25, 20, is that right? 25, 26?
24.
24, okay, same age as me. Okay, cool.
Yeah. All right.
95? 95?
95, dude.
Very good. Hell yeah.
The other thing, man, like we're part of just like the armpit of this generation that was like put here to try and like change shit. And like we have the power to actually like change that shit, but we're just like right in that like crux of like being just kind of smoothed over for like the younger or the previous generation who's in more power. Yeah,
big time. Big time. Like, two recessions right now that we've lived through that we remember, you know?
Oh,
2 of them.
Well, the rise of the internet, we're the guinea pigs for all these like programs. We're the ones who are like, I agree to these terms and conditions, so everyone else could do the documentary on it and be like, these people are fucked.
Yeah.
And
we're the ones who have to deal with 6ix9ine.
Also true. Back up, man.
Yeah, good old 6ix9ine. Keep going. Like so violin, and then you got to the guitar, and like so what did your like life, were you in like jazz band in school and stuff like that? Like what?
Yeah, so then like guitar was my main thing, and then grade 6 started band. Wanted to play saxophone, but we had this hand-me-down trombone that's like 65 years old, and my parents were like, you're playing this. I'm like, all right.
Sorry, that's better than my mom coming down here. That's fine.
I was just like, drop the beat. I was first trombone in a jazz band, and then started a combo band, which is pretty good. Yeah. It was a lot of fun. Played like a lot of just like classic jazz standards, and then I started really getting into jazz. That's when I discovered Miles Davis.
Yeah.
And also
is that where Miles comes from? Is from Mr. Davis?
Like,
Okay.
yeah, okay, yeah. The name Miles comes from Miles Davis for sure. Just in terms of like phrasing and like musicality, individuality, and I think for me, like, he really just captures the attitude of being cool. And
Yeah,
you
100%.
the instrument is beyond whatever you're playing. It's just like it comes from somewhere different. It's not going to be technically perfect. It's going to have heart. Yeah.
Crazy musical narrative with Mr. Miles Davis, like one of the most rewarding discographies of anybody. It's just crazy.
Like, through the personal life that he like turned it from too. Like there's some pretty crazy shit.
Yeah, there's him crashing his Lamborghini. You heard about that? And then some really rich guy just like came and took all the cocaine for him, so he didn't get arrested. You ever hear about that?
Oh, I knew that.
All sorts of shit like that.
You know what? That's hard.
Yeah, it is. He was hard. Yeah, he was very hard. And one in a million. Another one too that I know is he was not particularly fond of white music until he saw the Stooges play, and then he was like, this is the shit. This is what these guys should be doing.
Well, it was a lot of musicians at the time, like just like the rise of Elvis Presley also. Mm-hmm. So like actually on that note, like in lockdown, like when I say like in my groove Elvis Presley, it's just like you're on track, but like people are hating you. So it's just like you know what puts you in your place. Like be aware of that. But
so jazz band, and then where did you go hip hop? That's what I want to know. When did it go hip hop?
Pretty much when I met this dude, like through high school, I was really into Eminem. I actually, disclaimer, like I really liked just like punk rap, like pop punk, and like just Sum 41 kind of shit. And like whenever there was like rap in that, I was just like, yo, like the rap like really gives it this certain energy. And then the second day of like music school, we like exited this like music theory class. We're like, let's make like this Gregorian chant into hip hop beats. And then I think that's where like the wheels very early started turning. And then through this guy, I started listening to way more hip hop. So for me, that's it. But you have a longer history.
I mean, I guess, yeah. But like, I don't even know we listened to like Danny Brown, I guess, a lot because like his album came out.
Pusha T was huge.
Was that Triple X time or?
No, that would have been Old.
Old, okay, yeah.
Like it was that year. So
like Old came out, around the time that we all would have graduated from high school, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
That was a
2012,
for me too, like a formative year for like musical taste though, because like that had a crazy amount of drops that year because like Pusha T came out, the thing I know like Kanye dropped in 2013, like friggin' Drake, I think Jay-Z did.
Yeah, that was Take Care.
True.
Yeah. Very important record. I guess Channel Orange would have dropped around then too.
I think that was 2012. But yeah.
It's 2012. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, but yeah. So.
And so
after that though, like, I don't know. We were in a band together in first year. Yeah. It was like I don't know, like.
It was like alternative funk.
Yeah, sort of like Arctic Monkeys, like the Strokes type shit.
Okay, I can get behind that. That was some of my like formative music for sure. Was that first Arctic Monkeys and first Two Strokes albums. I still listen to those first Two Strokes albums. The Arctic Monkeys not so much, but
yeah, I love that first Strokes album.
It's crazy, man. It's all hits, and then the second album is not as many hits, but it's got Reptilia and 1251, which are like woo. Talk about a drop, man. There'd be no like dubstep, I feel like, almost without 1251. That's a fucking drop and a half on that song.
Hot take.
Yeah. I don't know. That's stupid, but
I dig that. All right.
That's the era of that though, like the sort of death of what we called alternative rock, indie rock of that time. Like there was a lot of moments. There were like a lot of that music really resonated because it was like moment music. Think about that a lot, like moments. Kanye's very good at moments. Led Zeppelin is like the ultimate moments band, in my opinion. Like think of a Stairway to Heaven when they start playing that like ba 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 ba.
Yeah, I think like
and hip hop is all moments, right? Hip hop, like trap music especially, it's just moments, like these little phrases, beat dropping. Like I listened to Eternal a Take for the millionth time today, and I'm just like, when he says Balenciaga, is it Balenciaga? He says like 1,000 times in a row.
Yeah.
Let's see how. That's a moment, right? Like, yeah. Cool with that a lot. So I want to know about your musical history, Emmett. I'm curious about that. Like, so you said you're a keyboard player? Like, that's your shit?
Like, I grew up, my mom just, like, signed me up for piano lessons when I was, like, 4, probably. And shout out my mom and my dad, both very big in my life. And but anyway, yeah, she, like, signed me up for piano, and it was just sort of something that I did without, like, thinking about it, like, for many years. And then, like, when I got to, like, grade, I don't know, 11 in school, it was, time to think about, like, university and stuff. And I had been in, like, jazz band, and our school had a drum line, so, like, I was in that. I was in, like, a bunch of shit like that. So I was like, well, I'm gonna shoot my shot with the piano. And then, so, like, I graduated, like, a bunch of exams with that, went into, university thinking I wanted to, like, be a pianist. Realized after 2 years that I didn't have the drive or the skill to, like, do it. Like, I liked it and I was pretty good, but I wasn't, like, by any means, like,
you weren't into the virtuoso territory. Yeah. I've had a bit of like, throughout my history of playing instruments, it's been imposter syndrome nonstop. So I'm with that 100%.
I mean, that's, like, a lot of academia, but
yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, so, like, there was that. And then, after, like, in undergrad, like, we would both, like, get pissed off, like, after our classes, just, like, with, like, classical, like, music shit, and be like, it's so, like, ivory tower, blah, blah, blah. And, like, a lot of the time I would just, like, listen to hip-hop out of spite. So.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, yeah, on that note, like, spite music and, like, heavy metal. We've talked about it a little bit, but, like, that was, like, huge drive for me too. And after I broke up with that, like, funk band in grade 11, I started a heavy metal band, and it was sick.
What was it called?
Right of Asylum.
Yeah, hell yeah, that's sounds like he came up with it in, like, a heavy metal generator, but
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. I didn't, but, like, it sounded.
Yeah.
Anyways, continue.
Oh, well,
spite music for classical music, though, definitely drove something.
But then it was your idea, though, to, like, start making beats. Like, we didn't decide to, like, become, like, rappers or whatever.
Not at all.
But, like, I think you, like, messaged me one day, and you were just like, man, we should, like, start making beats. And we both had, like, GarageBand.
Yeah, like, shout out.
So there were many just, like, hours and months of just making shit beats.
Oh, dude, yeah.
And then eventually we, like, upgraded to Logic and, got a little bit better. And then, like, ever since then, it's just been sort of a development, I guess.
Are you still on Logic, or?
Yeah.
Yes? Okay, very good. Yeah. I use Ableton, but hey.
Man, Ableton's sweet, but, like, especially
Logic
for, like,
is so good for everything, though. Like, for putting vocals in and all that, it's very, very user friendly, and, like,
that sort of thing. And, like, especially just, like, the space we have here, it's just like, hit R, do your thing. It's
that. So okay, I'm gonna go even further back again. Thesis statement. I asked you about thesis statement before technical difficulties. Choral collective thesis statement, or mantra, as much as you love that.
You will, if you dare. I would say it's all about just curating a platform where people can, like, collaborate freely, like, kind of being, like, an all-in-one, not quite a label, but that sort of idea. Like, we have producer, we have, like, capabilities of recording, mixing, mastering, songwriting, artwork, visuals in development. I think just, like, fostering that sort of, like, networking attitude and, like, collaborative sort of stuff.
Without being like the CD networking that it's like, it's at the club. It's like, hey, man, let me buy you a fucking drink kind of thing, right? I hate that shit.
Which commercializes it, and, like, also just bringing a breath of fresh air to that sort of scene. Like, I think things are so oversaturated right now, with no shade or hate to anyone in particular. But, like, I think there's just, like, in the scene, in the community, there's too much of the same thing. And it's like, it's time for something to just shake it up.
Yeah, like, okay, I've listened to a lot of these Victoria rappers, and anyone that was notable that I reposted, like, very skilled and stuff, but the fun is not quite there all the time.
Gotta have fun.
Gotta have fun. And I'm hoping to bring some fun to everybody at least, and I think that's the similar goal for you guys, right?
Best you lit the crowd up, like you got the people.
Yeah.
Like,
I think honestly, like that was just experience. Like I've
showed,
played in lots of bands and stuff, and you learn how to manipulate people.
Yeah, okay. I know it's your interview, but like I also know that you opened shows for Deaf Heaven and shit.
Yeah, that was I was in a band called Schoolgirl for many years, and it was a improvised noise punk kind of thing. I was the lead vocalist. I used to be a lot skinnier. It was a lot better when I was skinnier and take my shirt off and stuff. No, nowadays it'd be like if fucking Homer Simpson was in a punk band. But like, yeah, and we applied for Sled Island, and we ended up being one of the heavier bands that they picked, and so naturally we opened for Daughters and Deaf Heaven. I have a Deaf Heaven story, but I'm gonna not waste the interview time. I'll save it. It's pretty funny. It was the same day as Brexit. That's all you need to know. And it got pretty silly. Yeah. We stole their booze. We stole their rider booze by accident. That's the gist of the story.
But did you meet Deaf Heaven though?
Yeah, we met them. Yeah.
Sunbather is an unbelievable album. Anyway.
Yeah, is that the lead singer?
No, like their album. Sunbather.
Oh, Sunbather. Sorry, Sunbather. Yeah. Sunbather was a fucking game changer. Yeah, for sure. And it was a great entry point for really heavy music for people that are more accustomed to like beach housey and kind of stuff, right?
Perfect meeting point.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess that's thesis statement. I already asked what's next. Workflow. That's what I asked Joyce about, was like workflow. What does it look like for you guys? Because I've talked to different people over the years, and everybody's workflow is different. Mine is very spontaneous and fast. Joyce's is a bit more calculated. He's more of a writer than a kind of off the cuff kind of guy. He can go off the cuff, but he's stronger when he's writing. But he's not very fast in my experience, to tell you the truth. So what's your workflow look like when you sit down and you go, okay, we're gonna record?
I mean, I don't know if there's like a particular like process or whatever. I mean,
right.
Like to speak on like my own, like for like making beats and stuff, like I get most inspired when I'm listening to like other shit. So,
yeah.
Like if I hear a song that I like really like, then I'll like, use whatever I like about that to sort of inspire what I do. And then, if I'm hyped enough on it, I'll make the whole thing like in one go. But like, and then after that, like, if Young Miles is catching the vibe.
Yeah.
Also true, like, yeah.
Continue, yeah. Like
half the time this guy's just cooking right here and I'm sitting on the couch. So it's like, if I get an idea, then I'm like, yo, the mic's also right here. So then, we just kind of like keep going. And also this guy's pretty good at like the bars and the quick wit. So he pops in once in a while too. But other than that, I think he's always cooking. So there's just like a deck of beats, and then having Illest or Dive Team or whoever else like kind of coming through, like, YoEmmett is on deck, kind of curating what could be good for like a group track. And that's
so
also
you play engineer as well for the most part, I guess. Then yeah.
I guess in a way, I wouldn't call myself one. But
yeah.
Like,
oh yeah, man. Because Chugger, like the Toronto artist, hip hop, like very aggressive. Anyways, check him out because like I feel like you'd fuck with him. But he was actually here because of Illest, and he rolled through our crib, and it was a crazy experience to have someone of that professional caliber in just the home studio. And he's like, who's the engineer? And we're both just like stoned, and we're like, this guy's from Scarborough, like 6'7", just like, this house gonna be? Yeah, it's just like okay, all right.
Did he record? You guys got a track with him?
Yeah, we actually do have a track with. It's like an Illest Choral Collective and Chugger track, which should be dropping sometime. We're putting together, but it's gonna be crazy. And Illest also has some like connections with him. I don't know. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's wild. Yeah, I'll look into Chugger. Was it Jugger?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Very, very good. So you guys had a song with fucking Nestle, right?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. Did you buy that?
Yeah, so that was Champagne was just like, yo.
But it wasn't like a straight up like
No, it wasn't like it wasn't very like it wasn't like blind at all. It was just like, here's some money, give us a feature. It was like,
Yeah,
yo,
I've gotten burned doing that a couple times. Like either
yeah,
gotten absolute half-assed garbage or not gotten anything at all.
yeah, and like we were kind of worried about that. 'Cause we're like, we don't know how to do this, so like, we just like messaged his manager, and he's like, yeah, we can line this up, and he's like, here's the email, send like whatever beats you're thinking, and we'll like choose them. So we sent like 6 that we worked on together, and he just like chose this one, and it was like, yo, I really like this about it. I really like the snaps transitioning into the class, which was kind of cool. And he's like, let's do this. And then he sent us stems like not too long.
It was actually sick because he was replying and he was like, oh, this is my shit.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh.
So he's a good guy.
Yeah.
And like clearly like he was like at least semi into it too.
Yeah.
So
no diva shit from Nestle. No diva shit from Nestle.
Seems like a fucking sick dude. And Corey's actually met him, I guess.
Yeah, and I did meet him. Like I guess it was like 6 months after, because that was like January of like it was like 2019. It was last June. I went to a show in Vancouver, and I like just walked up to the line, and then he like pulled up at the same time, and I was just like, yo, I'm like, that's Nestle. And he just like walked up to the front. I'm like, yo, Nestle, it's Miles, like Coronation Collective. Like we did the track with Champagne Crawford. He's like, yo, he's like, I know who you are, bro. He's like, what's good? You ready to turn up? And
that's awesome.
I had my bar tab paid for, and I was just like, I got fucking lit. It was crazy. So, yeah, big misstep on my part is like he asked a bunch of people to like go on stage, and I didn't. But I was there by myself with a bad girlfriend at the time, and I didn't go on stage. And I'm like, fuck, this guy was out of town. Champagne was gone. No one else could go. I was like, fuck, I had to take my girlfriend.
Yeah. The old ball and chain.
Man, you're telling me, man.
Yeah. That's good. Yeah, like that's a philosophy I've always kind of thought about, is the like just like why not like shoot your shot? Like that's, I think a lot of young artists getting the kind of this diva-ish thing, and they're afraid to reach out because they're afraid of getting a no.
Man, yeah.
Send your emails. And email, I think, is the key too. That's the one thing. Like I think a lot of people our age are email hesitant. If you can email them, don't DM them.
Yeah, 100%.
I did one today.
Yeah.
But like,
Who'd you email?
Undisclosed.
Okay.
But
was it Lil B?
No, it was not Lil B. They're from overseas though. They're really dope. Actually, I mean, yeah. But well, I don't know. Like, what's the point of keeping it?
D Block Europe.
Yeah, D Block Europe. Like,
okay. I don't know what that is.
They're super sick. I like somehow just like stumbled upon them on like Spotify. But they have like some features with like, more of the rappers that we know, like Rich the Kid and like shit like that.
Okay, yeah.
But,
I feel like Rich the Kid is a guy you could get a feature from with the right amount of money.
Yeah, I just like don't know if I have like the stacks.
I also don't know how good it would be. Not to throw shade at Rich the Kid, like that. He's a very high person,
I don't want smoke with Rich the Kid, but like
I don't either. I loved his new album too. Like, and I love The World Is Yours too, which the critics did not like. I thought it was fucking awesome.
It's funny. His IG live like every single night. Like I've realized I've stopped tuning in, but every single night it's just him like trying to see titties from his fans.
Yeah, that sounds like quarantine hip hop lives right now.
Yeah.
We watched some Freddie Gibbs the other night, me and my brother, and it was just him listening to Future and Jeezy and just being like, "What's your Cash App? What's your Cash App?" That's it. It was Freddie Gibbs is the man. He's very he's definitely understands the fun thing, I think.
Yeah, big time.
I like
at least from his social media.
Yeah, well, I mean, Earl sweatshirt.
Kenny Beats.
Yep. Oh, I love Kenny Beats. Yeah, Kenny Beats is any of us white lads trying to do this thing, I think, should look up to Kenny Beats a little bit. Yeah. He's just himself. He's not trying, like he's not talking in false. The Bush is starting to kick in here. But yeah, I think about the false jargon a lot too, being something that kind of freaks me out. Like talking to like white rappers and stuff, and them really putting on that sort of like stoned front. It's like, just talk like yourself, man. Like, come on. I'm not, and again, I'm trying to be positive PM, you know, all that shit, but that's not positive shit. That's not positive shit.
Exactly. Like you have to acknowledge those things that like people do to just like perpetuate certain cycles to like break it. You know, like
Yeah.
Depop.
Yeah,
So
I listened to David Lynch's book. It's called Catching the Big Fish today. Listen to the whole thing. And he talks about how, like, nowadays, like, you know, every morning there's thousands of programs that anyone has accessible, right? Anybody can make anything with digital video and with all these, like, you know, DAWs and stuff. And how it's like, you know, that you really don't have to commit to being a certain way, because you can just make it for the sake of making it.
yeah,
There doesn't need to be this commercial level ambition. You can just hope that it comes to you if you're honest, you know?
Exactly.
I think so, but also like I like getting the bag, and
Yeah.
like to me, like that's sure, yeah, great.
Well,
like
okay,
if I feel
No, I respect that immensely. I don't worry about the bag. I'm in a position of being a middle class fucking kind of guy where I don't need to worry about the bag, but also, I don't know, it becomes less fun when I worry about like streaming numbers and stuff. And I used to check my Bandcamp every fucking like 2 hours to see if anybody listened, and I just can't keep doing that. I just can't keep doing that.
That's true, but I think the difference is like when you approach it like just making it for the sake of making it, and then everything else kind of materializes because it finds place. I'm like, I feel like that's, you know, kind of an indicator of being, you know, true to what you know and what you do best.
Yes.
That's also a big kudos to what the Coronation Collective thesis would be.
Well, this new record you put out, as far as I can tell, you're doing big numbers. You're doing pretty big numbers. 4,000 monthly listeners is pretty fucking good, I would say.
Pretty crazy. Like,
is that right? Is it 4,000 roughly? Is that?
It's gone down a bit if we're gonna be honest lately, but yeah.
It's been over a month.
As of today, though, yeah, it was like 28 days today.
Oh no, it's going back up.
And it hit 20,000 for the album. But I mean, like, that mostly came from just like submitting it through Submit Hub and like trying to find playlists that, you know, kind of fucked with it. But like for, you know, what, like we got like 5 yeses for probably 32 no's, and it's just like that's how things go, like, you know. And that's another testament to just like knowing yourself. Like, don't listen to other people to like accept you or not, just do it. And it's like it's gonna turn out how you want it, and the number doesn't make it either. It's just like,
I feel like these places that you're submitting to, it's like I had a friend who made a feature-length film recently, right? And he submitted it to all these film festivals, and all he got was no's. But what he realized is that film festivals only watch the first, I think, 6 minutes is the rule of thumb or something of a film, and then they pause or whatever, and they agree whether or not they want to watch the rest. And if it's not a unanimous yes, then they move on to the next DVD that they got.
Exactly. So like,
so it's got to, with music. What do you? It's got to be like what, 10 seconds, like the equivalent theoretically, right?
Yeah, I think like it's like 10, 20 seconds.
Man, like especially now that it is like so easy. It's easier than it's ever been to consume music or like any sort of content. But like the fact that like Spotify gives you unlimited shit and you can just bang, bang, bang stream through shit if you don't like it in like legit 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Like you need to be able to, and just like with the ADD attention span of like, you know, people in general.
Yeah.
But like, you just need to be able to like capture an energy like immediately.
Yeah. And I think this new record does a very, very good job of doing that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. I think this is a good chat. I think I could stop recording now. What do we think? It's about 55 minutes, I think, between the 2 videos. So
that's lit.
It's pretty good.
Out now.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, no, we can keep chatting. I'll just turn the recording off. I gotta piss like a racehorse too. So, all right. So yeah, what's the next drop?
I would say look for like, I'm trying to like, I'm low key materializing a bit of like a next solo project. I'm not going to put a date on it. I would love to do it on my birthday, but we'll see, which is in June. But we'll see.
But we do have a couple things in the works. We have been revamping an oldie but a goodie, and I think people are gonna like it.
Big time.
It's very close.
Yeah, that's coming.
And yeah, we have a couple other dingers.
Yeah,
and we're probably gonna make more right after this. So
yeah, honestly, that's the vibe for.
All right, plug the social media.
Oh yeah, at YBNG Miles with a Z, at Coro Collective, at YoEmmett _. Follow all those peeps for some pretty integrated, up to date hip hop content. Let's go YYJ. Turn it up.
YYJ. Been PM.
PM.
Yeah,
You
PM
much.
for the people.
Woo!
Thanks for watching.
Bless.
Bless. Vegas Nights, Feet Miles, coming soon.
Let's get it.
It's probably not what I'm going to call the song, but hey.